Hansen at the center circle, ready for the opening tip. One of the 5 starters for Portland. Rupert, Bouknight, Sissoko, and Love joining him. Fears and Reeves, Queen, Peavy, and Yves Missy, the promising big at the 5 spot for the Pelicans.
Yves Missy got a lot of minutes this year for the Pelicans with all the injuries they had, and great experience for him, and looking to be able to have a strong performance here in Summer League in front of course, the Pelicans brass, Joe Dumars, Troy Weaver, of course, Coach Green still in the building, so they've stuck around to make sure they're watching how their prospects develop.
Hansen and Missy in the circle, and it'll be Pelicans on the opening possession of the ball game. And Queen at the top of the circle. Drives it on Sissoko. Tried to put him in the weight room, instead lost control. It'll be New Orleans basketball. Corey Brewer, the Summer League head coach, former player for the Pelicans and several other teams, former NBA vet. National champion at the University of Florida as well.
Back-to-back. 06-07 national champion.
My bad. Hansen with the block on the opening shot. Fears pulls it back out. 10 on the shot clock. Empty corner 2-man game with Queen. And we have a defensive 3 seconds and a perplexed looking young Hansen trying to figure it out. Ronnie Burrell, the Summer League head coach for the Portland Trailblazers. That's Jonah Hersku, a assistant to his left.
But when you consider young Hansen picking up the illegal defense or defensive 3-second call early in this game, you also have to take into consideration the language barrier that he's having to deal with, learning a new game. And let's face it, the draft was about 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
And so he's actually still trying to catch up, really more the terminology and the understanding of this NBA game in comparison to what he's played for his entire life.
Fears out top. That'll be out of bounds. Portland basketball. Back to Hansen. Folks, this is bigger than just the NBA and the league and professional sports. This is about a young man right now who is giving hope and inspiration to an entire country in terms of basketball. China has not been on the radar for the last 8 or 10 years in international competition on the Asian continent. Hansen is the latest of several players to reignite hope in that country.
And let's also consider that there are 680 million NBA followers in China. So it is a very important property to this game.
Here's out top. Reeves playing with his food, and it pays off. A long 2 to get on the board.
Elite scorer, even from his high school days, playing at Simeon High School for my guy Rob Smith in the Chi. And so did the same at Kentucky, and had a little bit of growing pains throughout his rookie year, but now looking to benefit the Pelicans moving forward.
Sissoko got stripped, got it back. Hansen for 3. Young Hansen. Oh, he's got the shooting sleeve move,
but he's got the celebration down already. No translation necessary.
I tell you, that tells you how much he connects with his teammates already, right, Corey?
Well, it absolutely does. And you think about how excited his teammates were to see him knock down the 3 ball and then to see him do the job defensively.
Got the block, and on the break, here comes Love. Sprays it to the wing. James Bouknight left that short. Hansen back out to Sissoko. Love driving it. Rupert. Out to Hansen. Great handle and float game, but a little bit off.
But even still, at his size, the ability to be able to make that move, put it on the floor, and get to his spot, you can see why there's so much excitement about Hansen when you think about the fact that this young man wasn't even in the green room. Walked out of the stands to come down and join Adam Silver on the stage.
Take one more look at the young big out of China, just 20 years old.
Young Hansen knocking down the 3 ball.
Check out the celly.
That's it right there. That's what I'm talking about. But look at everyone on the bench on their feet, Jonesy. The celebration, but more importantly, celebrating with his teammates means even more.
And it really demonstrates how basketball really unites countries and people.
It's a universal language,
Yep.
as is this. Defensively coming up with the block shot, denying an opportunity. And again, you know at that size, he has the ability to be a disruptor on the interior. And the example of that early in the game.
Fears with a wild shot was looking for a call. Rupert on the break. Bouknight to the rim. Got the layup. James Bouknight on the board. Trying to find his rhythm offensively. Former first-round pick of the Charlotte Hornets. Out top, missing a little delay action. And that's going to be a foul against the Blazers as Reeves tried to cut off that screen.
Nice pass by Rupert, getting out in transition, and Bouknight with the finish. Using the opposite side of the rim. Well, Bouknight picking up the foul will have a seat as Sean Padula checks into the game, and Bouknight and Caleb Love, both the starting backcourt, having a seat early for the Blazers.
Early substitutions. Of course, this is game 3 for both these teams.
Sean Padula, DJ Carton both checking into the game. Padula, who spent his last season at Ole Miss after 3 spectacular seasons at Virginia Tech.
BB made a little space off the bounce. Big time rebound by Missy. One-on-one against Henson. Man, he put him on a flight, but couldn't cash out. Reeves on the baseline, cut off. Shot clock down to 7. Queen. Peavy, one more to the corner. Pristine ball movement. Everything but the bucket for the Pelicans. Sissoko. Back out. Rupert for 3. Ryan Rupert out of France. 4th-year pro. Played in France and New Zealand prior to coming to the NBA. Queen out front. Methodically working his way inside and turned it over.
And that's been a concern for DQ early. Had a 7 turnover game last time out, looking to clean that up as the Blazers lead by 6.
Summer League. Playing in the NBA is an adjustment regardless of who you are, but Hansen has looked incredibly effective and efficient so far. And when I talked to Summer League head coach Ronnie Burrell about him, he said he's not even really worried about the turnovers, which have been a part of his first 2 games. He said, I don't worry about the turnovers at all because passing is such a big part of his game. He's big, he's young, he has the ball in his hands, so I don't worry about the mistakes. Burrell also said that's what makes him special, his ability to play make, create as a center. He also said his court vision and IQ is elite. So I followed up and said, where does he get that high IQ from? And he said, honestly, that type of feel to me is innate. I don't think it's teachable, especially in a young player. He just developed it from watching and playing all his life. It's really rare, guys.
Yeah, poise and passing skills that belie his age, Corey. And interesting. The hype on this guy is similar right now to that of Wang Jiji and Yao Ming back in the early 2000s.
And when you think about the fact that Yao Ming coming in as the #1 pick, really just kind of took the NBA by storm and was well worth the #1 pick. Yao Ming was absolutely spectacular. And you're talking about another very good passing big man that is being able to grace our game.
Joe Chi, another one from the Houston Rockets. There was a game between Yi Jianlin and Yao Ming back in the mid-2000s, a regular season game, okay? Folks, listen to this as Fear slams it home. The ratings on that game between Houston and Washington featuring those two players, the ratings back in China made the Super Bowl ratings look tiny. It dwarfed Super Bowl numbers. That's the impact of basketball in China. It's 3-ball from the corner.
Tell you what, the Blazers have been sharing the basketball extremely well and taking advantage of the opportunities from beyond the arc. Already 4 of 7 from 3.
DJ Carton.
Baseline drive, baseline drip. City Sissoko, who is an elite passer in his own right, finding DJ Carton able to knock down the corner 3. Great action by the Blazers early, stretching it out to a 10-point lead.
Rupert in particular off to a good start. 2 of 2 from downtown. Quinones with the foul out front on Padula. Folks, Summer League action continues tomorrow on NBA TV, ESPN, and the ESPN app. On NBA TV tomorrow, Phoenix, Minnesota at 5, Orlando, Brooklyn, Pelicans, Thunder after that at 9:30. Rupert checked out of the ball game for Portland. He's their leading scorer. And off the block, it comes back to Quinones. Missy. And rebounded by the Blazers on the break. Carton with a nice spin out to Padula.
Carton is one of the more athletic guards that you're going to see, especially off of 1 foot. Elite athleticism for DJ Carton, who spent time at Ohio State in college, was an early entry into the NBA draft and still trying to find his footing, but has had significant time in the G. But the second dunk for Jeremiah Fears getting out in transition. And this is 2/3 of the points that the Pelicans have put up. His 2 dunks accounting for 4 of their 6 points. But Jeremiah Fears doing a great job getting into the passing lane and finishing it off in high fashion.
The truth about DIY is you never really do it all by yourself.
Because this setup took 2 videos and a quick demo.
You can change your color here.
And this pizza wasn't delivery. This was.
I wonder if they have.
To the pavilion in Las Vegas on day 6. Pelicans with a little run. Jeremiah Fears, the 1st-round pick, catalyzing that comeback. Couple of dunks. Caleb Love drives the closeout. Nice dime inside. And the reverse, good, pristine ball movement that time as Carton cashes out.
But Caleb Love has that ability. He started his career at North Carolina at the point guard position, was predominantly that point guard as a freshman, moved off the ball after that. But he's best suited to be a guy that's a playmaker as well.
Fears out top, launching a contested three. Portland down by 10. Pelicans come in without a win here in Summer League. Abdullah off the screen, and that's going to be a foul against Brooks. As Queen gets ready to come back into the ball game, and of course, so much of the franchise's future, immediate and long-term, hinging on the health and availability of Zion Williams.
And of course, right beside him, the Hall of Famer and the new president of basketball operations in New Orleans. To Zion's right, Troy Weaver, the general manager. So, remember we were talking about DJ Carter's athleticism? There he is right there, showing it off. This young man is a high flyer. I mean, of course, right on cue, we're talking about Zion, who is one of his own. But when you think about Zion and you talk about the expectations of this Pelicans organization, his availability is going to be paramount for them to be able to move forward. Everything that they're doing, the moves that they're making are based upon having Zion Williamson in the lineup. And you look at only 30 games played last season. And again, you've heard it time and time again, the best ability is availability in the NBA.
At times it's been a real perplexing dilemma trying to figure out the puzzle of being able to keep him on the floor.
Because he's been great when he's on the court.
Yes. Caleb Love. Here come the Pelicans. Queen, a straightaway three over Henson, missed it badly. Corey, he hasn't looked comfortable in any of the two previous games and hasn't gotten off to a great start here offensively anyway.
It's going to take some getting used to, because when you consider Derek Queen and his ability to be able to really dominate in the Big Ten at Maryland, he wasn't playing against the level of competition as far as big men that he's going to see, not just at the NBA level, but even in the Summer League level.
Right.
He goes into a walk into a three. Young Hanson, that's a strong closeout. When he puts his arm up the wingspan, that's a big guy you're trying to shoot over. Derek Queen hasn't really played against that type of competition throughout his career.
DJ Carton at the free throw line, third-year pro out of Marquette. Earned a two-way contract with the Raptors at the end of the 23-24 season, and then waived later in December. A couple of games in Vegas, averaging about 5 points per. Portland up by 13 here in the early first part of the half. Quinones, nice pocket pass. Queen draws the foul and will go to the line for two.
And it's always great to have a veteran like Lester Quinones on your team, a guy that spent a lot of time with the Golden State Warriors organization as well as different stops around the NBA. But you need a guy like that on your Summer League roster to help these young players figure out the way that the game has to be played.
Queen learning and adjusting to the rotations and speed of the game. Had 7 turnovers in the first contest. Hey, see the next generation of NBA stars at NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. Tickets are going fast. Get yours now at NBAevents.com.
How about
Queen, a 77% free throw shooter in college. You saying?
Queen was also a member of Montverde Academy, where they actually had in this draft 4 players drafted in the first round, alongside his teammates Cooper Flagg, Liam McNeely, and Asa Newell. So you've got 4 guys playing in Summer League. Well, I don't think Coop's playing anymore.
Right. Shut him down. Is it just me, or does Montverde Academy win the national championship every year?
It almost seemed to be that way, but actually Kevin Boyle has left. He's now left Montverde, headed to Spire Academy. But you look at this team, head coach Kevin Boyle. is a fight.
Yeah.
But when you look at it and you go through it and you say, okay, Scotty Barnes was the NBA Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had me at Cunningham and then Barnes.
That combination right there. Now, we know Cooper Flagg, just like Cade, was the #1 pick. But who will be that Scotty Barnes? Who'll be that second guy that steps up like that?
Great lineage at that school. That jumper by Tyson off the mark. He had a good opener against the Golden State Warriors. Brooks on the edge. Quinones outside. Around the green screen. Got a look. And here's Caleb Love. 45 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Going to run a little angle pick and roll here. Love checks the screen. Henson spins, and Queen with good defense knocked it away. Shoemate to Queen. Queen working on Henson. Big time lefty hook.
But you see the touch from Derek Queen right there, going to that left hand, the ability to be able to finish with either hand right around the rim and a soft touch.
Lead is down to 8. Caleb Love running the point in front of guy he remembers as Mr. Big Shot. Head coach Chauncey Billups, who won't like that turnover. Won't count, didn't get it off in time, and that's the end of the first. 10 minutes of play from the pavilion.
Wasn't a great start for Derek Queen, but he finished the first quarter with excellent play on both ends, stripping young Henson on one end and finishing over top of the big man on the other.
Right now at US Cellular, you can get 4 free
off the bench. What was working for you there in that first quarter?
Really just asserting myself offensively, getting in the lane, being aggressive, just trying to get my teammates, active and get them going, and then just trying to push the pace and use my athleticism to the best I can.
And this is your 4th summer league. What are you hoping to show out here?
Really just, blessed for another opportunity, another run to go at it, and really just trying to compete out here. Really put all my weaknesses to test out here, and just trying to find the best competitive style of play and get my game going next season. So.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Guys.
All right, back to the action. Thanks, Vanessa. 8-point lead for the Blazers. Shoemate out top. Queen with a nice pass on the baseline to Reeves. Queen, little hezzy against Henson. And got the N1, put Henson in the weight room on there.
And Derek Queen starting to get comfortable. You see his ability to handle the basketball on the perimeter. And is going to be crafty. Oftentimes will become a hard matchup for opposing bigs to have to go out and guard. You see his ability to go left and finish through the contact.
Okay, just clicked with me, Corey. Sebo. Zach Randolph.
That is a lot of
I'm looking at him thinking he moves and shakes like somebody, Zach Randolph.
That is a lot of what many people
close?
say. Oh, yes, very close. When you consider Derek Queen, and again, Zebo, similar to Derek Queen, they weren't above the rim guys, but they had Zebo had elite footwork. He was a very good passer. I'm not sure that Derek Queen to this point, even though he's a good rebounder, I don't know that he's the rebounder that Zebo was. But if he can develop the mentality that Zebo had, now that is a difference maker in itself.
Love with the offensive rebound for the Blazers. Another opportunity. Sissoko Hansen had a notion. Stares down Queen, jabs him a couple times. On the cross, Young Hansen, and that's going to be an offensive foul. On an offensive foul against Young Hansen.
And Queen bodying up, and you see Hansen getting that left arm up above the shoulders. But that's really the biggest key for Derek Queen, is watching him compete on the defensive end of the floor. I believe that's where many people feel that the league could be a struggle for him, as he finds Chase Hunter in the corner. Was able to knock down the 3-ball.
Bouknight back into the ball game. Sissoko in the corner. Hansen left all alone. Queen dared him to shoot it. Was fortunate to get the miss. And Queen leading the break. Tween, cross. Queen, mixtape time by Derek Queen. That's a Gucci bag work right there.
That was similar to the play that he made for the game winner against Colorado State during the NCAA tournament. Going to that left, and he's equally as good going right or left. Derek Queen has the ability to play off the bounce.
Henson misfiring on another three. New Orleans has rallied courtesy of a 13-0 sprint to knock the game at 19. Ball tipped out of bounds. Queen is looking much more comfortable even in these last 2 minutes.
He really has settled in, finding Chase Hunter in the corner. We talked about his passing ability, but also the ability to play off the bounce against bigger defenders, using his ability to handle the basketball to get to his spots, going off the glass to tie the game in a 13-0 run.
7:48 to go. Queen on the baseline against Sissoko. Gonna try and walk the shorter man down. Nice fadeaway. Derek Queen is feeling it right now.
Oh, he's got it going. I was shocked that he really didn't look to be more aggressive offensively on the last possession where he gave it up, because he's got it going. And when you get going like this, the NBA rule is if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You got to get a touch here. Sissoko stood in there and took the charge. Queen has scored on 11 of this 15-0 run.
Well, when you see, and he was the emphasis to get him going early in this game. The first possession was to allow him to be able to attack off the bounce at the top of the key. He wasn't successful, but you can see the plan of Corey Brewer coming into this is to try to establish Derek Queen early in this game.
Queen an efficient 4 of 8. Love with a pull on the 3. Made it look easy. Love makes it a 1-point lead for Portland. They put the ball in Queen's hands a lot as a facilitator and hub, right?
He has the ability, and again, as we, of course, talk so great about him, he turns it over.
Whistle and a foul. As, boy, you alluded to Carton's indomitable athleticism. We saw an example right there on the foul.
Yeah, and you see how quickly he's able to really, it wasn't much of a screen, but he's able to get around it and get to the rim quickly, jumping off that 1 foot. And that's one that Queen will learn, just to allow that layup to happen, let him go, not pick up that foul. Of course, you get 10 in Summer League, so it doesn't matter as much, but
can't take him home with you, Corey.
You cannot take him home.
Carton knocks down the first free throw. Derek Queen has 11 of those 15 last points for the Pelicans, and he will get a well-deserved and earned breather from Summer League head coach Corey Brewer. There's a host of subs come into the ball game. This is as good as Queen has looked offensively in Summer League.
And again, that's his strength. His offensive game is his strength, and he's going to, I mean, you can tell how valuable he was to the Pelicans organization. They made a trade and gave up an unprotected first-round pick as City Sissoko knocks down the 3-ball. but an unprotected first-round pick that, if the Pelicans don't have a quality year, could turn into a #1 pick. So when you consider that, that's how much they thought of Derek Queen to be able to go out and get him. But Troy Weaver,
that's a good pick. That's a lot to give up.
It's a lot to give up. But Troy Weaver, of course, the new general manager, very familiar with Derek Queen and his game, watching him from a young player. He's a true believer in Derek Queen's ability to be able to help change this franchise alongside Zion Williamson.
When you take a panoramic view of the Pelicans roster, and Queen, their 13th pick overall, first-round draft pick, how does the spacing work with that guy right there, Zion Williamson, and the rest of the roster for the Pelicans?
Well, it's always important to have shooting around Zion. And Derek Queen is a capable three-point shooter. He will become a better three-point shooter as time goes along. But more importantly, his ability to be able to pass and facilitate allows Zion to have so much space to operate in the lane. But if you get an opportunity to see the Pelicans depth chart, you look at it, DeJounte Murray, Jordan Poole. Of course, Trey Murphy III had a great year until he was injured this year.
Right.
But his ability to shoot the basketball, as well as Jordan Poole, playing around Zion could be extremely important.
Peavy with the slam. And the Pelicans back to within a point. Inside, another good defensive play by Misi, who you spoke about earlier. He got a lot of tick this year, a lot of burn with the Pelicans, unexpectedly, but it proved to be valuable experience for him.
And he could be the guy that's the starting center for the Pelicans, playing alongside Zion. But you see his defensive ability and able to slide his feet on the perimeter, oftentimes switching against guards and pick and roll, but also able to protect the rim.
That's going to be a foul against the Pelicans, Corey, and number 55, A.J. Hoggard. We were talking about Troy Murphy. A healthy Murphy is a boon for the Pelicans, and had a chance to speak with him a little bit earlier this week. Said he's out in the lab in Los Angeles right now with his skills trainer, Drew Hanlon, working on playmaking, adding mid-range play, and being a better creator at his own shot.
Absolutely.
Being able to get his own.
And you know he's a Wahoo, so by the way, UVA guy.
I was sitting on that fastball. We got a timeout on the floor. Carton getting a little lift from his friends when we come back to Las Vegas.
The truth about DIY is you never really do it all by yourself.
Of course, and Corey Alexander. Coach, good to see you, man.
My dog.
Do you still have a payroll number to ESPN?
Hey, man, y'all people working me good, man.
Chauncey, you know, coming into the arena here at the Pavilion today in Las Vegas, saw about 70 or 80 people with Chinese flags.
Yeah.
Chinese pictures of Yang Hansen. and kind of feel like we're onto something with this young man from China. What do you think of his play so far? Because it seems to have at least justified some of the hype around him.
First of all, I think he's doing a really good job. Secondly, y'all finally seeing what we saw. You know, like we took him, and everybody had a lot to say, you know, about the pick, but we didn't. All we cared about is we thought he was an incredible prospect that was going to fit in perfectly with our team. And I think he showed that he's doing a really good job with that.
Chance, I was at the draft when he was announced as the 16th pick, and he was at the draft, walked out of the stands, and no one knew who he was at that point. But you had spent time with him, obviously, before then. What did you see? Was it the passing that really stood out the most to you, that the fact you could possibly run offense through him, or what was it that made you get on board with saying, hey, this is our guy, this is who we need to go after?
You know, there were several things. One, his passing obviously stands out. And anytime you can have a good passer on your team, he's a good connector. Everybody loves playing with a great passer. But not only that, he was very competitive. He was physical. You know, he set good screens. You got to understand, as a big man, there's going to be a collision on every play. Either you're going to be the one going to it, or you're going to be, you know, he's the one that goes to the collision. And that's something that you can't teach. Passing and feel, that's also something that you can't really teach. So the things that you can't teach, when they can do that, it's incredible, because I know what I can teach. So I just felt good about it. I really did.
Chauncey, we had a great moment where he had a chance to display his personality. After the three. He gave it the three in your mouth, Sally. He really seems to have connected with his teammates despite the possibility of maybe a little cultural differences and language barriers.
You know, and that's, just think about it. You know, he's still kind of learning and getting more comfortable with the language.
How do you guys handle that? You guys have a translator for him?
Of course.
Yeah, he's got a translator sitting right behind the bench.
On the end of the bench right now. His name is Chris. He's doing a phenomenal job, but, you know, we'll have our own, you know, people we got English classes for him, and we of course we have an entire agenda for him, you know, to speed him up, but he's doing a really good job with all of those things.
That's great.
Congratulations to you, signing a 4-year extension, I believe, to stay in Portland as the head coach. And, you know, I didn't know this was the path for you. We talked about this long ago when you were doing TV, and you made the decision to get into this coaching. Of course, everything that you've done throughout your lifetime, you've excelled at. Have you enjoyed this side of it and mentoring these young men?
Man, I love it, CA. I really do, man. I love teaching. You know, it was just so many guys along the way for me that taught me, that helped me. And coaching is just teaching, you know, and I really do. These guys are so talented. They're so good. They're so skilled. But I think it's really important, and particularly when they come into the league, it's important what they learn right away. And it's going to set the tone for the rest of your career. You know? So I love it. I love coaching. I love teaching. And to your point, early on, I didn't know that this was going to be the route for me either. But I just felt called to do it, man, and I just love it.
You've experienced seismic change since you first lined up on the sidelines. I mean, Dame Lillard was part of the team when you first came aboard, and things have really turned over in a somewhat significant way. One of the guys out here that you drafted, Caleb Love, comes in as an older rookie. How does that benefit him? What have you seen out of that so far?
Well, you can see how comfortable he looks out there. You know, he's got a lot of experience. He's played in a lot of incredibly big games in college. Those things really matter. You know, I'm one that I believe in, you know, rookies that come in a little bit older. I mean, you look at what Tumani Kamara's done for us. Came in a little older, is already one of the best defenders in the entire world. So I love it.
Caleb knew your nickname too, Mr. Big Shot.
As he should.
He didn't have to YouTube it or Google it.
As he should. He's old enough to know that.
I know, but you never know with these young cats, man.
The 19-year-olds, they don't really know it. To your point, Caleb, you know, at his age, he knows it.
All right, Jonesy, let me say this. And I've known Caleb Love since he was probably 14 years old. The person that I would have told you then, and really for the last 10 years that he reminds me of, is this guy beside me.
Oh, okay.
And both of them are the coolest dudes in the room, no matter what happens. Whatever profession it is, they're going to be the coolest guy in the room. But Caleb has a very similar personality to Chauncey. They're not rah-rah guys, but lead by example, and both players that other guys want to follow. Even though I was the older guy.
You was the semi-older, but I thought you was the coolest dude on our team. Well, now you're giving me.
We used to have that battle all the time.
Yes, we did.
One of the big transactions you guys made was being able to get Drew Holiday coming in. What does Drew bring outside of the obvious? We're going to keep you. Can we keep you for one more second?
I'll be right here, man.
Right.
He ain't got nothing else to do, Jones, but hang out with us.
He's trying to get the gold watch from ESPN like all of us. Back after this.
This is a meal, a tender Italian steak and mozzarella sandwich so good.
Chart for the Trailblazers. Drew Holiday acquired in that deal with the Celtics. Anthony Simons going the other way. Let's start with Drew. That's where we ended things off. What one variable does he bring that you guys figure to benefit from the most?
Experience. You know, that's the one thing a young team doesn't have is experience, and it's tough to get that unless you bring it in like that. And obviously, this is a guy who's won championships. He's, in my opinion, going to be a Hall of Famer. What he can give Scoot Henderson, Shaden, Tumani, Denny, all of our young, talented guys, even our centers, what he can give them are things that I can't give them. I can try as good as I can, but you need a guy actually in a jersey that can do that, you know. So I'm super excited about Drew, and he's not like an old player. He can still go out there and dominate and do what he has to do, which I love.
Now, of course, I've been able to do this through text, but also got to congratulate my young fella inducted into the Hall of Fame. So again, you know, and Jonesy, this is the thing, and I don't think really many people know this. He had a struggle for his first couple of years at the NBA, and it wasn't necessarily play as much as it was injuries. The shoulder, multiple shoulder injuries that took him off the floor. We ended up trading you out of Denver to Orlando. You couldn't even play at the time. You bet on yourself going to Minnesota, and coming off the bench, became that sixth man. But then, of course, it was the Pistons that really went out there and saw what he could be moving forward. When you look back at that journey, how much of that helps you share with these young people, somebody special like Scoot, who hasn't hit that all-star level his first 2 years yet?
Well, you know, the biggest thing, CA, is I think that's one of the gifts that I have is I actually can relate to every single guy on that team. The guy at the end of the bench not playing, the six-man guy, the star of the team, the role player. Like, I've been every single one of those guys, and you know, I never actually talk to my team. I never do the, like, when I was playing or this is what I did. I never do that. But when our guys go through certain things, I can tell them how I feel. I know how it feels, you know. So that relatability has been the key for me. You know, being able to meet them right where they're at all times.
Shaedon Sharpe really had a strong season overall. We need to look at the big picture, especially the second half. What's the next step for him?
Just consistency. You know, he had struggled with some injuries, but you talk about uber talent.
Right.
Shaedon is he's as talented as anybody. You know, he's starting to really guard the ball now and defend and use both sides of the ball. And if he can reach his potential, I mean, it's going to be scary.
Gifted
really
athlete,
will.
yeah. That's the kind of defense you want to see from them, right?
They're scrapping.
I believe it was 2 years ago your team won the Summer League championship. Was that?
That was a couple years ago.
It was a couple years ago you guys won it. And we talked about how would that defense translate moving forward. And, of course, that's where it starts with every organization. It starts on the defensive end first. With the trend now where everyone is picking up 94 feet, is that something we'll see more so from the Trailblazers? And again, to me, that trend really started in the 2021 finals when Drew Holiday started picking up Chris Paul 94 feet. And that changed the series after Phoenix was up 2-0 in that series. Is that something we see from you guys moving forward?
Well, most of the world, and even you, now that I hear this question, I didn't really see us play last year. But that's what we do. We pick up full court every single time. Toumani Camara is maybe one of the best in the league at picking a guy up full. I mean, end to end. That's what we do already. And to y'all's point, like when you have a young team and you're trying to build and you're trying to, you know, get your culture together and your identity together, like you start there on the defensive end. And all of our guys know that's where we hang our hat. Offensively, we'll just get better. Offense is fun. Everybody can play offense. That's the easy thing to do. So we're going to hang our hat on the defensive side of the ball, and offensively, we just play fast and share the ball.
How would you characterize Donovan Clingan's biggest improvement from Game 1 to Game 82?
Oh, man, it's been incredible. I think the education that he was able to get, you know, playing so many games this year, understanding how to play against a shooting five or an athletic five, or, you know, he's seen it all now. He really is. He really has. He's seen it all. So the jump that he's making this summer, I'm really excited about, too.
Do we see some too big action with Hansen and Donovan, perhaps?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to see these guys play together and play a little bit more. But it would be so new.
Hey, I got to ask you, with young Hansen playing as well as he has, do you have your passport ready for a trip to China?
Oh, I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
Going over, right?
I'll be ready, baby. I played over there a couple times in the preseason.
It ain't his first time going over there. They're going to love the big fella when you do take him back over and get an opportunity to play in front of his home country, especially if he's knocking down threes like this.
Hey, Corey, guess who the most scrutinized NBA coach in China will be?
Oh, no question about it. I tell you what, though, if they know like I know, he will have his fan base there as well. One of the best people that I've ever been to be associated with in this game.
Amen.
I've referred to him as a little brother. He's not that much younger, but you're still a little brother, but part of the greatest five alive.
We still got a little salt and pepper on us right now.
With a lot of fire in the furnace still. A lot of fire left. Chauncey, thanks a lot for joining us.
I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all.
We'll be back in just a moment.
Love, baby.
We're here at US Cellular for Us Days, where our customers get exclusive deals just for them.